Folks, a really funny thing that I see a lot when people start a business is they kind of rush into making an S Corp election. Okay. Now, I'm not against S Corps as a general rule. I have a business entity that I have elected to be taxed as an S corporation, right? So obviously, I'm not opposed to them at all times, and sometimes it does make sense from a planning perspective. That said, okay, if you're starting a new business, I wouldn't rush into making that S election right off the bat. Okay, no matter what some S corp shop sold you on Instagram or social media. And to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about, I'm going to look at this Reddit post here in the tax subreddit. By the way, I'm the mod for the tax relief subreddit, trying to grow that. If you're on Reddit, check it out. It's just tax relief, r/tax relief. Okay, so we got Green and Clean LLC. Kind of a clue. I imagine this might be some kind of cleaning service. What do I need to file for my LLC? Hello. I registered as an LLC. Okay, first of all, for beginners, what does that mean? That means that he or she formed an LLC with the Secretary of State for their state. Okay. This LLC has 4 members in total, including me. Oh, wonderful. So there are 3 other parties, owners of this LLC. Now, oftentimes, if it's a single member LLC, and we ask our client who says, oh, I have a single member LLC. All right, can we please see the operating agreement? We get a deer in the headlights, right? Operating agreement is what basically describes what the LLC does, the duties, how it's going to be managed, and very importantly for tax purposes, how the profits and losses and capital contributions and distributions are going to go. Okay? If you don't have an operating agreement and you have 3 other parties, then you don't really have anything in writing agreeing to the structure and the economics of this enterprise and how it's going to be shared amongst the members. Okay? So that's definitely something you want if you don't have it. My CPA is currently on vacation, which is why I'm asking Reddit. By the nature of the questions they're asking, I would say wait for your CPA to get back from vacation. Anyway, I plan on filing as an S Corp Forms A32 and 2553, but I'm curious if there are any other forms I need. Why are you trying to figure this out yourself? Wait for your CPA to get back. And how I would manage the other members on taxes, and if I need to supply any special forms to them. I don't think I need to file a K1. Yeah, you do. He said, I don't think I need to file a K1 for them as it's an S Corp and not C Corp or a partnership. This individual is confused. S Corps and partnerships, owners of those entities, get a scheduled K1. C Corps, no such thing. Okay? C Corp, the way owners take cash out typically is either through a well-documented loan, wages such as on a W-2, or as a dividend on 1099 div. With pass-through entities like S Corps and partnerships, with the partnership, you're basically just looking at that K1, right? And there might be a guaranteed payment report on that K1 as well. With an S Corp, you're generally looking at you're definitely getting a K1 from the S Corp if you're an owner. Now, if you're actually working in the business, right? You're an employee of the business, you'll also get some of your, income from this S Corp paid to you on a W-2 as a regular employee of the business, subject to payroll taxes and everything else. That K1 piece, right? That distributory piece, it is not subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes, and that's the whole S Corp saving thing in a nutshell. I manage my invoices and expenses in a CRM, nice and organized. All receipts are kept as PDFs and physical and printed. This is weird. I manage my invoices and expenses in a CRM. Okay. A CRM is not a bookkeeping software. Just so we're clear. Hopefully you have a CRM that talks to your bookkeeping software, but a CRM in and of itself is not a bookkeeping software. Okay. And if you're setting up this, what is at least right now a partnership, right? It's a multi-member LLC. I wouldn't just rely on your CRM for your bookkeeping, right? You need a CRM, but you should also have a proper bookkeeping software set up. It's a service-based business. That's what I kind of surmised from Green and Clean LLC. I do have an EIN, etc. Got documents stating I had to figure this stuff out by the 4th of August. From who? I don't know. This is weird. My CPA doesn't come back till August 8th. Well, you're not going to be able to figure all this out on your own, clearly, because whatever research you've kind of initially done has kind of led you the wrong way. But this kind of leads to kind of the point that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Look, I know starting a business is fun. There's a lot of excitement. You have a few other people here. It sounds like maybe your first rodeo in business. Make some money first. Make some money first before electing an S Corp treatment. Okay. Other thing, because when you elect S Corp, then okay, you got it. Now you bring this whole situation in of payroll, right? And additionally, I know this situation is not a single member, but if it's a single owner, right, and you have a single member LLC, all you just report on Schedule C. Once you make an S Corp election, then now you got to file a holder tax return, 1120S every year, and pay an accountant to do that for you, right? Obviously, because this is a multi-member LLC, you'd be filing a separate tax return anyway, a 1065, even if you didn't elect to be taxed as an S Corp. So that's kind of neither here nor there. But there is this extra payroll piece too. Now you're in the 940, 941 world, right? But there's kind of a bigger thing here, which is, does S Corp treatment make sense for everybody here, right? Does it make sense for everybody? Because all of these 4 owners of this business are going to have to sign off on that 2553 when you make the S Corp election. Okay. They're all going to have to do it. Okay. And, just because maybe it's true, S Corp treatment works for you, but it might not make sense for others. Right. And, it just might not make sense. There are other things you need to keep in mind as well with S Corp. You can blow up an S Corp election very easily. For example, if you have multiple classes of stock, you might be thinking, wait, what are you talking about? Multiple classes of stock? That sounds just, if you're, and this is where it can get tricky here. Sometimes if you just have an LLC operating agreement, there may be certain phrases in that operating agreement that would imply that this enterprise has multiple classes of stock, okay? And that's something to watch out for, okay? Another thing, if all these individuals are working in the business and now you're S Corp, you got to figure out what the reasonable compensation is. How much to put on a W-2? How much is this their K-1 distributory share, okay? So what I would say, green and clean, you just set up this LLC. I'm recording this in late summer 2025. See how this enterprise goes for the rest of the year, right? Are you guys making money or on the path to making money? Okay. Before you kind of rush into the S Corp thing. That's my 2 cents as a CPA who actually owns an S Corp right now, right? It made sense for that particular business and for my situation, but it's not something to rush into right off the bat before you're even, making any money, okay? Or else, you might have just paid somebody to do S Corp stuff for you, and it didn't even make sense in the end, and now you're out of that money that you could have simply invested in your business for other things, more practical, useful things, okay? Anyway, Green and Clean LLC, I wish you all the best with this service business. Sounds like a cleaning business. I hope you guys do well. And I hope you get your questions answered by your actual CPA, not randos on the internet. Anyway, folks, my name is Logan Alec. I am a CPA. I own a company called Choice Tax Relief. We help folks who owe the IRS or their state at least $10,000 in back taxes or who have multiple years of unfiled tax returns. If you'd like to schedule a free consultation, please give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Or you can go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on the website. We will reach out to you. My eyes are closed because I'm sleepy. Anyway, I have some other videos here on the left-hand side of the screen for your education and enjoyment, and I'll see you in the next one.